By saying the health and well-being of the citizens of Labette County will always be number one. With all the health and safety issues that come up with the wind turbines, you wouldn't be able to hold up to your word and vote for the turbines to come in, would you?
Yeah, I'll vote for the turbines.
But how would you be able to hold up to your word that...
That's what, it doesn't matter. You've got your sources, I've got mine.
But
have you read the Iowa environmental?
The what?
The Iowa environmental?
The Iowa Environmental
Council's
No,
report?
I can look.
They have a lot of windmills in Iowa.
They do. They
Yeah.
do have a lot of windmills in Iowa. Speaking, I've got a Marine brother.
Longer than history than Kansas.
Yeah. I got a Marine brother of mine. He actually works for a windmill company. And when I talked to him and asked him if he would ever live next to a windmill, the answer is no. Because of the noise. But he's an expert in it because of what he does for a living and knows what he knows about it. But I mean, just the question would be, with all of the windmill issues and having 200 households inside of the footprint of the windmills, you know, how would you consider being able to vote for something like this with all the health and safety issues, and then being able to hold up to your word on your platform? That, you know, number one priority would be the health and safety of the Labette County residents. And I'm assuming you're talking about the Labette County as a whole, not just those living inside or outside of the footprint. That's correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Commissioner Farrell, last week in the meeting you told me that moratoriums aren't enforceable, but you were quoted in the Parsons Sun asking Hernandez from RWE. You asked him what would stop the project on RWE's side. Hernandez said the county continuing the moratorium on construction sends a signal to RWE that the county is not interested in the project and that it should reallocate its sources. Okay, so the moratorium's not being enforceable is actually not correct, is it?
No, it's correct.
Yes. So you visited with attorneys, landowners, title companies, and reviewed lawsuits. A moratorium needs to have specific goals and deadlines to be enforceable. Is that correct?
What's your point? What are you trying to get?
I'm getting that you said that they're not enforceable last week.
I don't think they are.
Okay, but they actually are, right? If they meet specific goals and deadlines, correct?
Specific goals and deadlines, but they are set to end. No, but it's. I still don't think they're enforceable. And
you don't think, you don't know.
From my research, they're not enforceable.
Okay, but a moratorium.
How long of a moratorium do you want? You were talking
last
18
week.
months.
Last week.
Now let me finish.
Okay.
You want it for 18 months, and then what? And then what? Everybody wants a moratorium. Then what do you want?
I'll get to that in the next
Just
question.
get to the point then.
Okay, so further research. If we were to get this moratorium, okay, it would allow for further research with the new information coming to light about health and safety.
Health and safety. What kind of health and safety?
With all the health and safety effects from the infrasound, the whole 9 yards.
The studies I've
Anything
read.
that we've all discussed.
Okay, but whether you take that at face value or you look at other research, you have to look at other research as well.
I think everybody looks at other research.
But you're not taking into account any of the results from the other research.
I think you do.
Well, what is your end result?
Let
You're
me
bounce around.
Okay, so that would be my end result.
So put a moratorium, and then for how long? 18 months?
Last week.
For 18 months.
18 months. What's more?
For what purpose?
To slow it down, and I'll.
To slow it down, and what would?
Okay, so it would let.
I'm not going to sit there and get put out.
It would allow for further research, okay, with the new information coming to light about health and safety for the road conditions in Neosho County. So there's a lot of stuff here that we could look at. Let time show what will happen in Neosho County, which is what I just talked about. Allow the commission time to apply for the special vote, okay, for the citizens in the county to choose for themselves, as this is far beyond the scope and normalcy of what county commissioners are asked to do when they are voted into office. Okay.
Hold on a second. Say that again. The last sentence?
And allow the commission time to apply for a special vote for the citizens of the county to choose for themselves, as this is far beyond the scope and normalcy of what commissioners are asked to do while in office.
That's clearly an untrue statement.
Okay.
KSA 19-101 and 108 clearly states that the commission has the right to act in their capacity unless they try to go against one of the limitations listed in 101A.
Okay.
There is nothing in there that states a limitation against 101A.
Okay.
But again, we've got to get back to the main thing here, and I'm not trying to tell you that your argument is invalid. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Again, you cannot just say, I don't want wind farms.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, but you are.
Well, let me finish.
Just hold on. I'm with you. Your argument
This
has
is what
been-
you encourage.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, okay, you're asking people to put up with this for the rest 40 years of their lives. This is gonna be a big impact. If people wanna come into this commission and address this commission about an issue that's gonna affect them and their family for the next 40 years, damn it, they're gonna do it as long as I'm here.
Please, Joe.
Thank you.
Let me say something.
Okay,
But hold on.
please,
Okay.
okay, what comments are coming from me, not from you all.
Hold on. I'm not saying that your argument is invalid. What I'm stating is, the argument you keep making is you want an 18-month moratorium to be able to do more research, find out how the road use agreements in other counties are going, see if there's any more additional health damages, if any new papers come out. So, okay, that's not an issue. The issue that you have to come back to, though, is this: zoning. What you need to be asking the commission for is that they create a zoning policy immediately, that they begin to create zoning throughout the county, because you cannot stop a wind farm without zoning.
That's not true, Council.
Name one county that stopped a wind farm without zoning.
Okay, let me finish.
Nope,
let me
just-
finish
just
here.
like
one. Just answer my question.
Counselor,
Council, let me finish here.
Counselor, you made
And
some
then-
very good legal points. He didn't bring an attorney with him. He's not an attorney. Let him address the Board of Commissioners.
But he's asking
Please
you
let him
questions.
address the Board of
Yes.
Commissioners.
Let me finish, sir, please. Okay. Okay, so the specific deadline is 18 months. Okay, that way this moratorium is enforceable with specific goals and a deadline as stated previously by Commissioner Perrell. In addition, moratoriums must have some weight, as RWE said. They would possibly stop the project and reallocate the resources elsewhere. If an extended moratorium was put in place when Commissioner Perrell asked Brandon Hernandez in January of 2020, since it will not break ground until 2023, this moratorium should not be a big deal. Okay, it shouldn't. Now, I think what we also need is studies. Have the studies revealed, RWE, have they revealed studies by a third party on impacts of wildlife and just the studies in general? Has RWE given any, and are they public, to Labette County, to you all?
I haven't received
You haven't received any?
it. Not that I'm aware.
I'm sure there'll
He
be,
gave out some information early on. I don't know what was
The-
in that.
what was stated is, I believe,
2 years ago.
when the wildlife studies begin, once if you put a moratorium on, those will, pretty much cease to commence. It's hard to get these studies. It's hard to get, dialogue going on to see if this is feasible or not. And that's the thing you don't understand.
Well, I think I
Is
do
no,
understand.
you just, you don't understand. If we want to see if this is feasible, is it beneficial to the county? But the county as a whole, everyone, could it be an economic impact? Of what proportion could it be? And we're not going to know that, and until I'm not finished. So if we're not going to know that until these studies are done. And I think we've said all along, if it's not feasible, then we should move on.
But the negative
but-
impact is only on the western side of Labette County, correct?
How's that?
We gotta get those studies done so we can know.
Oh, absolutely.
And the
I wanna
negative
see that.
impact
We
is-
would like. I think everybody would like to see the studies.
Well, he made
But
it
you're talking
clear.
about the impact of Labette County, where the majority of where the damage is going to be done is in western Labette County, just south of where I live.
Okay, so
So it's gonna
if I
impact
just talk
me.
about damage.
Okay.
Is it going to be truly damaged? That's what we want to see. And we have to look at it. We have to get all sides. And I'm not saying they're perfect, but we have to see, is it going to benefit everybody? And what will it do? negative impact, what annoyances can happen, you know, and I want to see those. But if we can't get the studies, if we can't have a dialogue, those things can't happen. So with an 18-month moratorium, what I've seen is they would reallocate their resources elsewhere. Do you know what that means?
Absolutely.
What?
That means we don't have any windmills.
No, it does not. That means they're going to reallocate those resources. So they're going to take all these studies, all the leases they have signed. They're not going to walk away. They're going to sell them off to the next highest bidder. And somebody else is coming.
Okay.
And then that's what would happen. Would that company be as receptive to listening to our concerns? Or would they just, here they come right over the top of us and, you know, try to stop them? And we wouldn't.
Okay, so, Mr. Johnson.
You didn't even, okay.
It's fine. You reminded those attending last week's meeting that they were not asking a wind permit question.
Who's this question to?
Mr. Johnson.
I would prefer you get posed any questions.
Okay.
He is the commission's attorney.
Right.
And your request was to speak to the commission,
Okay.
and I'd like to limit to that.
Okay. Okay, but last week's meeting, there was, we were not asking a wind permit question. They said it was a zoning question. Because it's what, he said because it's what it comes down to. He also said that the project to be stopped if the county creates zoning. And Labette County has a long history of being against zoning. When people hear the question, do I want wind farms or not, there may be one answer. But when they hear they have to enact zoning to do it, I think he said you may get a different answer. You cannot have one without the other. But that is not actually correct. There is something that can be done to stop the windmill project without zoning. It would have to be in the form of a resolution.
Sure.
Yes, the elected a county commission can use its general police powers to enact a resolution addressing industrial wind projects. The elected county commission has broad local legislative powers to enact resolutions regulating various activities of businesses as it determines to be appropriate for health, safety, and general welfare. See KSA 19 Tech 101A, Blevins versus Hebert, 247 Kansas 1 in 1990. Health, safety, and general welfare are broad concepts, and as a result, the county commission has significant regulatory powers, including with respect to industrial wind projects. When a county commission exercises its police powers through enacting zoning regulations, it must comply with KSA 12 Tax 741. See Genesis Health Club Incorporated versus City of Wichita 285 Kansas 201 in 2008. Exclusive source of zoning power for municipalities is the zoning statutes. However, a county need not use zoning regulations in order to regulate industrial wind projects. The essential defining characteristic of a zoning regulation is the division of property into zones or districts subject to use regulations or restrictions specific to each zone or district. See KSA 12 Tact 756A. Therefore, a regulation that controls a particular type of activity without respect to and without creating any zone or district is not a zoning regulation. And that is what I would like to see happen, is a resolution to end the windmill project.
This request again is for the commission to do a moratorium for 18 months.
Correct.
Okay, we had a similar one from, also remember when the mayor of San Vale was in here, I talked to him last week. He said he also wants a moratorium, but he wanted to understood this was not on behalf of his position as mayor, but as a private citizen.
Okay.
So I didn't want to put that out there. So commissioners, do you have any further comments? And I apologize, Councilor, but this is a heat between the county commission and the residents of Labette County. And do you have any more questions or comments? Commissioners, do you have any more questions or comments? Okay. At this time, I'd like to move the Board of Commissioners notify RWE or whomever that we're going to implement an 18-month moratorium to cease all activities dealing with the wind farm. And that we are going to have time to look in to see what the long-range effect would be upon people of this county. I do not want to leave this office in a situation where people are going to be affected and we're going to hurt our future generations, whether it's in property values, whether it's in agrarian health. I've heard a lot over the many meetings about more and more we're finding this, and thank God for the people from Neosho County who can't do anything about their situation, but are sharing with us what they're going through now. So based on that, I know I'm not going to get a second, but it doesn't matter. It's how I feel as a commissioner. And so that motion is on the table. Is there a second? Is there a second to my motion? Is there a second to my motion? Madam Clerk, would you please report in the Commissioner's Journal that the motion from Commissioner Addis died for lack of a second? Okay. We have other things to take care of. Josh, thank you. It was a good presentation, and I really wish this wasn't an issue on this board. I really wish this wasn't an issue in this county.
Me too.
And it's the most important thing. Everybody knows how long I've been in office. It's the most serious, important thing I've had to deal with. And why it's getting me right the last 2 years of my term in office, I don't know. But it's the most important thing I will ever deal with as a commissioner. Okay. Is Brandy Gransel around?
She's